Shalom, Kol Halal Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bahashem Rakak Badash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the confusion of faith joined unto our ranks, the hopefully lack the aquaf that are listening and learning. My fellow yoke mates that are doing this work, whether they're in the great millstone or not, as long as they're teaching the true doctrine directly and correctly. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago with the final installation of the Bible is Black History American Black Journal clip. And I decided to start with this clip from Elder Apostle Ramlav's video about Atheos Quadam el Numero Militari, Black Africans in the Roman army, which really meant Israelites. You know, because they love to label the Israelites. They grouped everyone that's dark skinned as African. All right, trying to push Edomite superiority. All right, because first they lied in every movie, every book, every parcel, every piece of art you see Edomites as the Romans, Edomites as the soldiers, Edomites as the gladiators, all the way up until the movie Spartacus, or the Stars series of Spartacus showed you the Jake, you know, the different dark people that were also there in Rome. So slowly but surely the truth is coming out. All right, and like I said, there's so many relics to prove what we've been saying. So as you see, just by watching Hollywood, you can see the apparent obvious racism and whitewashing of history. All right, and going back to this video here that I've been profiling, this guy admitted that he's losing a lot of people to from the church. All right, so we're gonna pick up right there, let him speak, bring out some scriptures, and close it out. All right, if you want to watch the movie, because I had some loud, boisterous, clamorous woman, all right, you know, that I had to block and delete her comment, all right, because clearly she's not in the spirit of the Lord. This is more entertainment for her, because if she was a woman of the Lord, she would have held up peace. All right, I teach the way I want to teach, and her complaint was, you keep talking about black, black, black. Yeah, because Jake has to hear things over and over again. When you read the Bible, the Lord repeats himself over and over and over again. All right, so you have to drive the point home. Because once again, I'm looking at a brown man, but the world will willfully and ignorantly, including Israelites, who will willfully and ignorantly refer to him as black when his skin is brown. Okay, so that's a point that has to be driven home, because that is a huge stumbling block to the nation of Israel, to people worldwide. Why? Because of Esau's lies. But now, you know, let's get on with the lesson. I had to get that out. Let me take the sound up.
Tell me what made you interested in this subject.
What made me interested, Stephen, is that in the black church, we were having a defection of African American young people, millennials. And I was trying to figure out, why were they defecting from the church, right? And where are they going, and why are they leaving?
And I'm going to tell you, here's the answer to that question. It's called the Hebrew Israelites. Especially the men of the Great Millstone. Why? Because true history is coming out. And they're learning of the lies that you continue to push. This is 2nd Ezra 6:27. And it reads, I'm going to start, 6:28. I'm going to start at verse 28. All right. Slakia. I'm in 7. Verse, 2nd Ezra chapter 6:27. And it reads, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. And as for faith, it shall flourish, because now the people are finding faith, because they're finding they're finding hope in the salvation of the word, the good news, the gospel. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and truth, which have so long been without fruit, shall be declared. And see, we were teaching, and our elders and the men before us, the men of One West, were teaching about Cesare Borgia. And the black church was not acknowledging it. All right? Now all of a sudden they want to acknowledge it because it's a problem, because they're losing members and they're losing money. All right? We've done lots of videos over the last couple years going in on these Christians on this subject matter. And now they realize that, well, if they go do their research, they're going to find out this is true. So now this is what they do. They get them a coon, a Tiberius Alexander type, you know. For those of you who don't know who he is, go back and watch Apostle Ramlad's video, the one that I was profiling before I clicked to this one, and he'll give you the understanding about him. He was a sellout coon who killed our people, who killed his own people for the Edomites, and he served in the Roman army. All right, that's who he was. So what does Christianity teach? They teach mixed race, or they teach that the mother has something to do with ethnicity. And what does the Bible say? The Bible says clearly that your ethnicity is through your father. Matter of fact, let's go to the Wisdom of Solomon. All right, they teach that it's an immaculate conception. All right, but the Bible does not teach that. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. I'm going to start at verse 1 and I'm going to read down to verse 5. And it reads, I myself also am a mortal man, like all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. So he's admitting that he's the offspring of Adam, going all the way back to Adam. All right? This is the lineage of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. But this is Solomon. So the Israelites go back to all the way back to Adam. As a matter of fact, all people do, but there's a chosen race. All right, they're not going to teach you that in the church. We'll get that next. But this is Wisdom of Solomon 7:1 again, and it says, I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man, and the pleasure that came with sleep. Because what do infants do in the womb? Well, the seed of men in the womb, they sleep. They're comfortable as long as their mother's healthy and not doing opioids or crack or some crazy mess. And when I was born, I joined the common air and fell upon earth, which is of like nature, and the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. All right? And it says, I was nursed in swaddling clothes, and that with cares, for there is no king that had any other beginning of birth. All right? So you just don't appear. You just don't. So an angel doesn't come down and impregnate women, man. Okay? So what's another thing that the churches, that this guy would teach? Matter of fact, let's let him say that again. People are defecting. This guy asked, what was your interest in this?
What made me interested, Stephen, is that in the black church, we were having a defection of African-American young people, millennials.
So he just admitted that we're the Israelites, but yet he still calls us African-American. This is a deceptive snake, a deceiving false prophet who's going to be put to death. Just like it promised that one that said, I have dreamed, that he would be put to death. What happened to him? He got put to death. All right, it was promised that all false prophets would get put to death, man. So let's, let him continue to tell his lies. Well, actually, he's telling the truth about the defection from the church. Because people aren't going to church like they used to. Why? Because people are actually reading the Bible again, and mainly because of the Great Millstone. All right, because no Israelite groups puts out videos like the Great Millstone. Because the truth be said, most Israelite groups are not as well educated in the Bible as the men of the Great Millstone. All right? And that's just fact. That's why you got some major groups that are out there and you never see videos outside of the leaders. All right? Because their men aren't capable of discussing the scriptures like we are. And that's just being honest. All right? That's not every group, but the majority. Okay?
And I was trying to figure out why were they defecting from the church, right? And where are they going and why are they leaving, you know. It wasn't like my generation. I'm a baby boomer, you know.
All right, so they're not, he's a baby boomer, all right? You can't put new wine in an old bag, all right? He's jumping on the bandwagon for filthy lucre's sake, not for truth. Matter of fact, let's get that, all right? Because he's from that old school, and you can hear it if you really listen to him talk. He want to say, and God, any second now. All right? But let's go to Timothy. Let's find Timothy real quick. This is 1 Timothy 6:5, and it says, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. So the guy wearing the $1,000 suit and the $500 Gators, all right, the brand new Cadillac, the brand new Beamer, the brand new Mercedes, that's just his wife's car, not even his. That guy is all about gain. Because that's what they teach. Gain is godliness. If you got money, then the Lord is with you. And that is a lie. Because the true people of the Lord, the majority of them are going to be broke and poor and destitute. That's part of their punishment. All right? Not saying that everyone, just because you have money, that you're wicked. But the Lord clearly says the meek. And the jakes who got it well, the majority of them, they've gotten their constellation on this side. They're numbered among the 2/3, unfortunately for them. What's another thing that these people teach? They teach that everybody can make it. And let's see what the Bible has to say about that. I could get several scriptures, but I'm just going to get a couple. And you know what? As I was flipping, Amos popped up first. So let's grab Amos. I wasn't even shooting for Amos, but as I flipped the page, it came. So let's get one in Amos. This is Amos 3, and I'm going to start at verse 1. All right? Because the Lord is only dealing with Israel. And it reads, hear this word that Yahweh hath spoken against you, O sons, because it says children, but it really said sons, O sons of Israel, against the whole family. There it's talking about everybody, the women too, which are brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. And see, that's the issue. All right? Israel is on punishment because of what they did wrong. Okay? It had nothing to do with the other nations. Salvation is not for the other nations. The Lord says that we're above them, they're below us. All right? Because they teach that that's what they teach in the Chawat, so they can get everybody's money. All right? And I've always said that they start teaching the truth, that people will clear out of the churches. All right? And guess what's happening? People starting to clear out of the churches, including a lot of Edomites, because they're learning that the Lord that they've been worshiping all along, well, a lot of them knew. A lot of them knew. But the low-level nobodies are starting to learn now that the Lord is not one of them. So what's happening? A lot of them are walking away from the church or hanging up. They're saying that they don't want to have nothing to do with religion. All right? That's what they're saying. All right? I'm looking for a precept. And here we go. This is Colossians 2, and I'm going to start at verse 2. And that their hearts, the there, you have to concentrate on who the there is. What group of people is it talking to? Is it talking to all people or is he talking to the Israelites? That their hearts may be comforted, being knit together in love unto all riches of the full assurance of understanding, to the acknowledgement of the mystery of power and the Father and of Hamashiach, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Right? So basically, the Israelites that are in the know that this is their book and this is all about them and for their people. And all of a sudden you get to the New Testament and the there and the they becomes all people all of a sudden. No. The apostles were going out to talk to the scattered Israelites of the diaspora, which have been scattered in the Old Testament. All right? In the Apocrypha. The scattering and the Hellenization of the Jews. Because the majority, during the time of the Apocrypha, the Northern Kingdom had come here to the Americas. All right? They were here, and here's just one of hundreds of books with the documented history and evidence that they just overlook and have cognitive dissonance when it comes down to it. All right? This is a book by Timothy R. Jenkins. All right? And it's called The 10 Tribes of Israel, or the True History of the North American Indians, showing that they are descendants of the 10 tribes. The oldest and most ancient Hebrew relics and writings, even Bible, the oldest Torah known to man, was found among the so-called natives. So with that, I hope this was a informative and edifying video. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Awashai Bashim Rakak Wadash Wa Abba Babal. Kwam Yasharallah and Shalom.